Hi everyone, I'm Richard. Welcome to watch my digital story of SLA. This is my story linked to two elements, behaviorism and cognitivism. In China, I began to learn English as well as playing the piano when I was 4 years old. In elementary and middle school, because I had certain bases, my English was always the best in my class. However, several years later, I became lazy and fed up with learning English, and my English began to fall behind. Well, I think it is the consequence of behaviorism. From Johnson, behaviorism is based on making the learners imitate and repeat their practice for many times. In my childhood, I did that intensively, and that's why I became tired of learning English. My piano teacher gave me more freedom, and I can use my own understanding to interpret every piece of music. And it gave me more space to imagine, so my piano was much better than my English. But in English, the way I learned was pretty structural and stereotypical. In 2009, I started my university life major teaching Chinese as a foreign language. I went to Singapore to join the internship of teaching Mandarin. In the internship, I realized that Singapore was also a country with a large population. The competition of job market was really fierce, which is similar to China. The students gained multilingual competence during the discussions facilitated by teacher. The teacher had to pay attention to individual needs and tend to let the students find the answers. This makes me recall the significance of cognitivism, which is supported by scholars such as Chomsky and Vygotsky. Cognitivism focuses on the student's internal rather than external learning process. The suitable activities and facilitations can stimulate their internal mechanism. During the students review their practice, they have a process of internalization. I suppose this can facilitate the language acquisition, but not only the intentional learning. Another milestone in my life is my overseas study in Canada since last year. From my experience, Canada is a wonderland of education. It has an entirely educational system where the teachers tend to organize rather than control the classes. Students are supposed to gain more power in the classroom. We usually build our knowledge system by discussing with others and asking questions. Behaviorism has 3 steps. Students are supposed to imitate. The teacher reinforcement and it forms habits. Admittedly, it has some advantages like it has short-term efficiency, so it's easier for beginners. And in a behaviorist class, both the teachers and students' tasks are easy. However, teaching language is not only delivering messages. Each learner has to create their own language. Cognitivism gives them platform to find the nature of the target language so that the students will build their own knowledge system and will memorize things much better. It's a process of acquisition which is more than learning. Just like I can know how to improvise music by piano without learning music theories. Between these two traditions, I prefer cognitivism, which is close to the idea of problem-posing education mentioned by Paulo Freire. Since the modern education tends to be student-centered, and the second language teaching has become a sociocultural issue, we must pay attention to internal learning process. To wrap up, I went through the behaviorism when I grew up in China, and my trip to Singapore let me have a glimpse on how cognitivism could be applied in SLA. And in Canada, I experienced the way of cognition to a second language as a learner. That's all for my story based on a theory. What about yours? Come and share with me.